folks. I hope you're all doing well. In this video, we're going to take a look at Proud Mary, the Creedence Clearwater revival song, or the Tina Turner song. It was written by John Fogerty, and it is a really fun one to play on the ukulele. There's lots of stuff for us to explore. So we'll start by checking out the chords and figuring out what the strumming pattern is, and then we'll throw in some different riffs and licks that you might be able to squeeze into the song. So let's take a look at Proud Mary. Quick overview of all the chords that we're going to be looking at in this song. We have our C chord, A chord, and G chord. Also got an F chord, and we have a D chord. It's going to be one of the most important ones, that D. We're going to be playing a lot of D, and a B minor chord. So lots of D, lots of B minor, and those other chords, the C, A, G, and F, are going to appear in the intro, and it's a little chord progression that kind of breaks up the song a little bit. Very iconic. If you know the song, then you're going to recognize this part. But before we get to that intro, I just want to take a look at the main portion of the song. So the D chord, the A chord, and the B minor chord. We could remove the little intro bit, and with just those three chords, we can strum and sing this whole song. We just won't have that little bit to play in between. So that's where I want to start, and then we'll add in the riff in the next section, and we can put the whole piece together. But like I said, we're going to be spending a lot of time on this D chord. So you're going to want to make sure that you found a comfortable way to play this D. So there are a couple different ways that we can finger it. You probably noticed me playing it like this in this particular playthrough. I am using my tenor ukulele here, and it is a longer neck, and therefore my fret spaces are a bit bigger on this instrument than, say, on my soprano ukulele, which is pretty small, and it can be tough to squeeze all your fingers into this D chord here. So especially when I'm playing it on a smaller instrument, I might finger it like this. For whatever reason, it's just a little bit easier for me to squeeze my fingers in if I have my middle finger on the second fret of the G, ring finger on the second fret of the E, and my index finger is tucked in on the second fret of the C between the two of them. But find a position of this D chord that you're comfortable with. And while you're at it, because we spend so much time with this one chord in this song, it can be nice to know a couple other ways to play the chord. So for instance, you might see me playing the D chord like this occasionally in this playthrough. So I've got my pointer finger barred across all of my strings, and then I'm adding my pinky finger on the 5th fret of the A string. So all of my strings at the 2nd fret, barred with my pointer finger, 5th fret of the A string with my pinky. Now, you don't want to actually put your fingers underneath the neck like this. I'm just doing that so you can see my hands a little bit better. Your hands are kind of want to be relaxed out like this, but when I'm doing that, you can't see what I'm doing. So this is only for the video. So this is another great version of D that we can use. We could be playing this the entire time, or we could just throw it in to change things up a little bit. We've been playing this D a whole bunch, and maybe we want a little bit of a different sound, so I could jump over here. There's another version of D that we could play, and you'll see me use this version of D. Here, I am barring all of my strings at the 5th fret with my index finger, and then I'm adding in the 6th fret of the C string and the 7th fret of the G string. Got my low G here. So for you, it might sound like this if you're playing with a reentrant tuned ukulele. But I've got my low G. Now, this is another great one, as we'll look at a little bit later on. This particular voicing of D is going to allow us to play that little lick. So if you want to learn how that goes, wait till a little bit later in the video, or hit one of the timestamps in the description below. But before we get there, let's hang out on a D that you're comfortable with or you're planning on using, and get a feel for what the strumming pattern is going to be. So there is a document called Proud Mary Riffs, and on that document, you are going to see how we play the intro, how we play that little Rolling on the River lick in a couple different places, and we've also got the strumming pattern written out in tablature and standard notation. So we've got 4 beats in each measure for this song, and we're going to be playing this pattern here. Now, in the notation, I've got rests breaking up our down and up strums, but I find that it sounds really cool if we throw a chunk in there. So try that out if that sounds cool to you. I'm also playing with this little distortion pedal. I got this many, many years ago, this little Dan Electro distortion pedal that has a speaker built into it. So when I want to get a little grungy with my ukulele, and I don't feel like carrying an entire amp around with me, I can just carry this little battery-powered pedal with me with that little speaker built in. It's just one setting, it's on and off. You're either distorted or you're not using the pedal. But it's pretty fun, and it sounds cool when I do that little chunk effect. But let's take a look at that strumming pattern. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm going down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up, down, up, chunk, up, and that just keeps looping over and over and over again. Let's see what it sounds like if I'm counting the beats. So again, 4 beats in each measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then once again, we're just going to keep playing that pattern over and over and over again. Now, playing it slow is one thing, but getting it up to speed is going to be another thing. I should talk about this version of D that I'm playing too. This version of D is kind of like my rock D, when I'm like aiming at just playing like these 2 strings right here. Now, inevitably I'm going to hit this E string as well, but I'm kind of aiming for these 2. And I've got my pointer finger barred across the 2nd fret, but I'm relaxing my finger by the time it gets to the A string. So I am muting that A string and just playing the 2nd frets of the G, C, and E string. But I'm going to play that strumming pattern a little bit. I'll count us off, and we can practice playing that, because, again, that's going to be a bulk of this song, just using that strumming pattern on a D chord. So pick a D, any D, and let's try this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Keep it going. And 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So if you're going to be playing and singing along, you'll want to spend enough time with that pattern to make sure it's a little syncopated, right? We're not playing all of our strums on the 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got some stuff happening in between those beats. So that can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to a pattern like that. But practice it, and it'll start coming together. So we've got our strumming pattern. It's okay if when you're starting off putting the words and the chords together. It's okay if it's not if you're not doing that strumming pattern, right? A lot of different strumming patterns are still going to work with this. So don't be afraid to simplify things if you're working on it and you just want to play the song. That is totally fine. So especially when I'm kind of playing it slow and like walking through our rhythms, I might just be strumming on each beat. 2, 3, 4. I might just strum at the beginning of each measure, playing whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you might hear a variety of simplifications as I walk through these lyrics. So don't be afraid to simplify. Okay, I'm going to start off with that strumming pattern, and then I'm going to start singing the verse, the very first verse of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Left a good job in the city, working for the man every night and day, and I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Switch to A. Big wheel, keep on turning. B minor. Proud Mary, keep on burning. We'll come back to this. Back to D. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for the next verse and the third verse. So that is essentially all you need to play the song. You've got those 3 chords, you've got that strumming pattern, and that is your structure. Let's pause for a moment to take a look at that B minor, though. So B minor is a bar chord. Here, I am barring all of my strings at the 2nd fret, and then I'm adding in my ring finger on the 4th fret of the G string. So again, if you're playing on a reentrant tuning, if you've got the high G, yours should sound something like this. Or mine sounds like this. Both of them are right, both of them are great. They're both going to fit just fine into the song. If these bar chords are new to you, you're going to want to spend a little bit of time practicing and building up some strength in your fingers. You're going to want to make sure that your thumb placement is good. Thumb kind of centered on the middle of the back of the neck. I don't want my thumb shooting out like that. That's going to make it it's going to make it a little painful for me to hold that chord for a long period of time. So I want to make sure that my thumb is bracing and supporting my other fingers. And I might need a little bit of time to just develop the strength in squeezing that chord. One great way to practice that is to get all of your fingers into position and just squeeze. You don't even have to worry about strumming. So you can just do this while you're watching your favorite show. Just have the ukulele in your lap. You're not even bothering any of your housemates. You just sit there and just squeeze that chord, and you're exercising the muscles in your fretting hand, so you can get used to that chord and build up some strength. Now, where these bar chords can be a little bit tricky, there's another version of the B minor that we can play. We can play a B minor 7th. Now, a B minor 7th here is not the chord that's written in the song, but it's still going to work just fine. And it is a little bit easier to play because I don't have to worry about stretching another finger over to my G string there, right? All I have to do is hold all of my strings with this one finger. I can concentrate all of my energy over there. I don't have to worry about, oh, is my finger going to stretch far enough? Once again, if you're new to these types of chords, that can take a little bit of time. So a great substitute, if you're still learning how to get that B minor proper, or if you haven't been able to get it in context just yet, you can use this B minor 7th and just bar all of these strings right here. So once again, mine sounds like this, but yours will probably sound like this. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? All right, so we have our D chord, A chord, B minor chord. We have our strumming pattern and our basic structure. Now that we've got all of these elements, I'm going to play verses 2, and then I'm going to jump to verse 3, just so we can hear what all of that sounds like. I'm gonna strum it with the strumming pattern. For the most part, I might, veer off. I might get spacey and play something a little bit differently, but I'm going to focus on getting that strumming pattern in there so we can see what this all sounds like in context. So I'm going to play that, just the strumming pattern on a D chord a couple times before I start singing. I'll do that to give myself a chance to get into the song, and especially if I'm in between verses, it gives me a chance to breathe and kind of figure out where I am. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Cleaned a lot of plates in Memphis. Pumped a lot of pain down in New Orleans. But I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on a riverboat queen. Big wheels keep on turning. Proud Mary, keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Okay, I'm jumping to verse 3 now. Here we go. If you come down to the river, bet you're gonna find some people who live. You don't have to worry, 'cause you don't have no money. People on the river are happy to give. Big wheels keep on turning. Proud Mary, keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Let me just repeat at the end. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. All right, so with just 3 chords, we can play this song. All right, let's take a look at some of these fancy bits. So we'll start off with the intro riff. Now, the intro riff should sound pretty familiar once again if you know the song, and the strumming pattern is going to be very similar to the strumming pattern that we're using throughout the rest of the song. So we start off going back and forth between this C chord and this A chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, rest, up, up, down, up, down, up, 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 down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I was just repeating that little progression right there, just so we can get the feel for our strum there. So we, in context, we're going to play that bit 2 times. C to A is going to occur 2 times. And then on the 3rd time, we go back to C, but we're going to change up a little bit here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Whew, lots going on there, right? So I have 1 and rest and 3 and 4 and. So that's C, A, G, F. Oh, gotta find the right notes. Okay, so that's the 3rd measure into this little intro bit. We are going to be holding that F into the next measure for the 1, that first down. in the next measure. You'll see in the standard notation, you'll see ties, those lines connecting the same notes. And in the tablature below, you will see the numbers, the fret numbers on the tab at the beginning of measure 4 there in parentheses. That means we are just continuing to hold those notes from the previous measure. So we're just going to continue letting that ring out, and we're going to begin strumming again once we see those tabs that are not in parentheses. So the F chord begins on the and of measure 3. So I'll play measure 3 just for context. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, I'm going to hit that F one more time. 3 and then we change to D. 4 and then we go into the song. So I would highly recommend printing this page out. So if you just saw that and you're like, okay, I got it. Great, awesome, good job, you're doing well. If you're looking at that and saying, wait, what just happened? That is okay too. In that case, I definitely recommend printing out this page and making some marks about downstrokes and upstrokes, any notes that might help you make sense of how this goes. One of the keys is going to be using your ear. Listen to the song, whether it be me playing it here in this video or the Creedence Clearwater Revival version, which is in the same key, listening to that very closely and internalizing how that rhythm works. Being able to read music is going to help speed up this process of figuring out what the rhythm is supposed to be, but it's not essential. There are plenty of fabulous musicians who don't know how to read music and will just listen to it over and over and over again, internalize what that rhythm is supposed to sound and feel like, and are able to play it. So whatever is going to work best for you, I will try to do a little bit of both of those things here. So I'm going to play through the entire intro riff. When I get to the end of it, I'm going to pause for a second and then do it again. And I'll count us in both times. So here we go, starting on C. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... And then that rolls right into our strumming pattern, hanging on that D chord. Now, while we're playing little riffs and licks, we have to take a look at that little guitar lick that happens after we sing "Rolling on the River." Now, on the ukulele, the way that I'm playing it, if I'm playing my lead ukulele, I'm going to do this pattern right here. Okay, might have seemed like a lot all together at first there. Now, in my playthrough, I'm not playing that within my solo arrangement, but if I was jamming along with other people, maybe other people are holding down the chord changes, I might be just throwing in some little licks like this throughout the song. It can be a really fun way to play, especially if maybe you're not so much a singer and you just like to jam along. Well, maybe some of these little melody licks can be really fun to throw in the mix. So there are 3 shapes that I'm using for this little pattern. It is all taking place on the A string and the C string. So for this little passage right here, I don't have to worry about the G and E strings at all. The first shape of 3 in this little passage here is the 9th fret of the C string and A string. And I'm using my middle finger on the C, ring finger on the A. The second shape is just going to be the same strings, same fingers on the 7th fret. So 7th fret of the A, 7th fret of the C. And finally, the last one is going to be 5th fret of the A, 6th fret of the C. So that's our little oddball right there. So 9 and 9, 7 and 7, 5 and 6. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is just make sure that you can move around between those 3 positions right there. Because when we're playing this little lick in time, it's going to move pretty quickly. Now, when I play this song, I can start this riff just on the 9th fret of my strings, but I like the sound of sliding into the 9th fret from the 7th fret. Now, that's kind of a technique all of its own that can take a long time to really get down. So if you're not ready for that, don't worry about it. I just like the sound of it. I think it's pretty cool. Let me get the beard out of there. And I'll start it off there. Now I'm playing the exact same rhythm as I would sing "Rolling on the River." Right? So I'm going 9, 9, 7, 5, 7, 5. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. That can be really cool. The way you'll see me play that riff in the playthrough is I am using this version, this barred version of my D chord, and I'm using my pinky finger to stretch up to the 9th fret of the A, and then I'm going to squeeze it into the 7th fret of the A. I'll release it for the 5th fret of the A. Whoops. Hopefully hit the right note when I put my pinky back down on the 7th fret, and then release here. So it's hard to see because these fingers are playing the chord and covering up visibility to that A string, but here's what it sounds like all together. All right, now so you can see behind the fingers, just pretend that my hand is barring all of that. Oops. Oh, because I wasn't using my other fingers, I wanted to go and, play it with different fingers, but I don't have that luxury because they're all occupied on that chord, so I'm just moving my pinky around. 9, 9, 7, 5, 7, 5. Like that. Now, if you're not feeling like jumping all the way up there for whatever reason, we can play those same notes down here. Well, they're going to be an octave lower, right? So those 3 notes are going to be 2nd fret of the E string, open E string, and 2nd fret of the C string. And I can play that same little melodic pattern. Now I'm 2, 2, open, 2 of the C, open E, 2nd of the C. And maybe if you're playing your chords down here, it's a little bit easier to throw that into the mix. You don't want to, well, you could, but, it's going to be tougher to jump way up here and be accurate and then jump back down here if this is where you're playing the chords. So, use your judgment about where you want to play what. But as you can see, there are a lot of different options, and there are a lot more licks that get thrown in. If you listen to the Creedence version of this song, there are all sorts of little guitar noodles and things going on that we could replicate with the ukulele. Another element that I didn't include in this little arrangement here is the solo. So the structure of the song, if we're putting all of these pieces together, we have our intro, that part, and then we go into verse 1, big wheels keep on turning, proud Mary keep on rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. And then we go into the second verse, clean a lot of place, blah, 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 blah. We go through all that. And after that second, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. And then we go back to the intro riff again. This guy. Now, in our version here, we just move from that intro riff back to verse 3. We just jump ahead to verse 3. In the Creedence version of the song, in between that, we just play the verse chords, and there's a guitar solo that happens over there. Just the same chords in the same pattern that you would play a regular verse. So playing that D for a long time, and then switching to the A and the B minor, and going to the Rollin' on the River part. So there would be a guitar solo over those chords, and then it would go to that last verse. That is not included here because I have a feeling that a lot of us right now, at least, are going to be playing this song by ourselves. But as it becomes easier and easier to play with others, if you have somebody, or if you are somebody who likes to shred a little bit and rip some solos on your ukulele, you could throw in that section right there in between the intro riff and the third verse. So if you wanted to see what something like that would look like on the ukulele, email me at tinyvillagemusic@gmail.com. I would love an excuse to tab out the solo, the guitar solo in this song for the ukulele. So if that would be of interest to you, let me know. But for now, let's see what the whole thing sounds and feels like all together. Play along with me however you are comfortable doing so, and you can always come back to this video when you've learned a new technique or maybe learned a new section, and you can strum right along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job in the city, working for the man every night and day, and I never lost 1 minute of sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Big wheels keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the in Memphis, pumped a lot of pain down in New Orleans, but I never saw the good side of the city till I hitched a ride on a riverboat queen. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. If you come down to the river, bet you're gonna find some people who live. You don't have to worry, 'cause you don't have no money. People on the river are happy to give. Big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. So that is Proud Mary. I hope you enjoy the tune. If you have any questions about this song or anything ukulele related, feel free to email me at tinyvillagemusic@gmail.com. I love talking about this stuff. Stay well, keep on strumming, and I'll see y'all next week. Take care. Come here. No buts. If you're gonna be in the video, you gotta be good. No. Come on. Down here. Sit next to me. Sit next to me, Squeaker. Come on. You're a guitar kitty. You really like this. You're a rock and roll cat. But you gotta stop doing this.